Good day, viewers. Welcome to a new edition of 30 Minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television, with me, Manir Dan Ali. Our guest today is the former governor of Zamfara State, that is between 1999 to 2007, and three-time senator from the same Zamfara State for 3 terms. That is Alhaji Ahmad Sani Yerima Bakura. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
You seem to have steered the hornet's nest, as they say, by your recent statement when you visited President Bola Tinubu, where you called for negotiation with bandits that have been killing and maiming people in much of the Northwest. Why will you take that position, especially given that in your own state of Zamfara, things are in very terrible state, even as we speak?
Well, you see, as a Muslim, anything I'm going to do, either advice to the government or discussion with people, I always relate to my religion. In our religion, Islam, negotiation is part of the process of solving problem between Muslims. These Fulanis or bandits, you call them, are Muslims. And a lot of them have problems of poverty and ignorance.
And they've been busy killing Muslims as well.
Yes, because they are, you see, it's been happening. This is not the beginning of this kind of crisis. So it's better to call on them, discuss with them, tell them. Some of them don't even know why they are doing it. I was listening to one interview done with one of the bandits in Zamfara, and he was saying that one sheikh said that if you are doing something wrong, Allah will put a dot in your heart, and the more you do it, the more black the heart will be, black dot. And he said he is sure that by now his heart is totally black.
But did he sound remorseful?
That person is not only ignorant person, but he doesn't know his own religion. And so those of us who know what is religion, you can do anything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you if you truly and sincerely repent. You see, the issue is that people who are advocating in military intervention, for how many years have military been facing them? 1. 2, the collateral damage. General Buhari brought, aircrafts, Taekwondo aircrafts. And he realized that by the time you send them out, you can wipe out 3-4 villages at a time. These people are intermingled with the people that are around them. And like I told you, it was a very good offer. I'm sure they will come out to the people, and they are also tired.
Have they said that to you? Have you been in contact with them?
I have never interacted with them. This thing is a new phenomenon. In my times, I was nothing like this. But I have observed over the years. It started during my successor,
Mahmoud Ali
Shinkafi. And after him, it continues Abdulaziz Yari, and it continues with Matawale. And Matawale tried to negotiate, but he doesn't have the capacity.
That's exactly the point I wanted to make. I've had audio of Matawale, then as governor, talking to the bandits, trying to make them see that actually he's Fulani like them, then he's Muslim, and there is no reason for them to be doing what they are doing. But they are adamant.
You see, this is a national problem. It's not a state problem. He doesn't have the resources and the capacity to negotiate and settle them. What happened in Niger Delta? It is not the Niger Delta states. It was not the Niger Delta states that negotiated with the militants then. President Yar'Adua realized that the collateral damages, loss of lives that was going on, and the problem persisted. He thought the best thing is to reach out to these people, let them lay down their arms and negotiate with them. And it happened, it worked.
But it's only limited success because as we speak, there is so much pilferage of crude oil.
This is a new
people
dimension.
are like
You see,
making their own local refineries, and it reached a point whereby more recently Nigeria wasn't able to even export up to its own quota.
yes, you see, the militants were agitating for resource control then. It is not, this one is a new dimension again. It is
So
no
are you
longer,
going to keep offering this amnesty?
This one does not require amnesty. The military have to take action to stop the stealing of our resources. It's not the agitation of militants that used to happen during Eradua. This is a new dimension, new problem of stealing resources, and this is seen in points, in different places that can be blocked. They open the pipes, they drain the crude oil, and even establish refineries. This cannot happen in Nigeria if government is up and doing.
But for many people, since your call, they've come out to condemn it. People in Zamfara, people from Birnungwari, which neighbors Zamfara,
Because
which is also been affected by this. So are you sure you took into consideration the interests of those who are living with this problem?
They don't know what is happening. They don't know. They think government can just send military and clear them. You see, I have seen what is happening. I know, I have seen the dimension the thing is taking.
Are you able to go home, to go to Bakura freely?
Of course. I've been going to Bakura anytime I want to go, I go.
And you sleep there?
In the afternoon, I don't have a house that I sleep in Bakura. I have a house, but it's for my, people who are working in my farms. I never, even when I was in Gusau, it was just 1 hour drive to Bakura. I'll go there, do what I want to do, and come back to Gusau. But even Gusau is not safe now.
Exactly. So which is why people can't understand why you are talking.
People who are saying they should not
the way you are talking. Yes.
They don't know the enormity. They don't know the capacity of those people who are doing what they are doing.
You mean their capacity is greater than the Nigerian state?
This is an internal crisis. I just want to give you an example. Even war situation. Now suddenly I heard that there's going to be negotiation between Ukraine and Russia. The World War I and World War II, if you recall, were not won on the battlefield. The more you try to attack them, the more they relocate, because these planners move around. They know the bushes more than the military.
But many people are arguing that until the government convinces them that it has superior power over them, that is when they will want to negotiate, not when you are like from a weakened position. The World War you are talking about, if, as we know, the Japanese and others only came to the table when the nuclear device was exploded.
You see, what I am saying is that people did not, look at my initial statement. What I said is that Nigerian military and security agencies have the capacity, they have the strength to handle the militants.
Yes.
The bandits.
The bandits.
But the collateral damage that may likely come out of it is what I'm trying to avoid. If the federal government now release all the resources required and given the political will to handle the problem, the military can face them. It may take some time. But as I said, while that is going on, then you reach out to some of them who are ready to repent. There are so many of them.
But the governments have been reaching out to so many of them. As we speak, even if you recall, there's the case of Tukur Mamu, the guy who is negotiating between bandits who took all those people who were abducted from the train. And he's still cooling his heels with the security services.
The effort, because I'm sure security may have known why they took him. Some of these people are employing more people. You see, like I said, so long as there is abject poverty in Nigeria, in the north in particular, so long as there is ignorance, education sector is collapsing. They will be recruiting and employing more people, even those who you think are elites. Because of poverty, they will see it as a business to interact between bandits and people. So government has to adopt stick and carrot approach. That is what I'm proposing, while doing planning and undertaking the military action, then the government should also reach out. They are Nigerians.
I think probably the government is maybe doing that, but why you are called stuck out is that these are people who are daily killing people, who are maiming people, who are in some instances their own blood relations, and people cannot understand how you can negotiate with somebody who is the same religion as the person he is killing, the same maybe ethnic group in some instances, Fulani against Fulanis, and what have you. And then they never keep to their words. A number of them have done deals with governments and then they have reneged on it. So that is why people cannot understand where you are coming from.
God who created us.
Yes.
If he decides to take all of us at one point together, he only say live, be, and he be. We all die.
Yes.
But he came with a process. He created angels to even supervise us. He doesn't need to do that. So we have to follow the process that will lead to final solution of the problem. If you say they are killing people, so go ahead and start killing them, where do you see them? For how long? Innocent people, go to Zamfara and check how many innocent people were killed by the security, not even the bandits. How many? How many innocent people were killed by the vigilante? You see, we have to follow this. You see, God who made us provided a solution for our life problems. Any problem that is, if you repent today, genuinely repent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say he will forgive you. So let's talk to them. While talking to them, planning on how to have a lasting solution for this problem. I'm not saying that just start negotiation without any preparation. I say we have the capacity. We have the military, capacity. With the political will, they can go all out and start fighting them.
Well, many are saying that a sustained military action against them, coordinated all over the states that are affected, is what will bring them to the negotiating table, so that they will be the ones asking for negotiation, not government with the tail between its feet, begging them to negotiate.
It's not that easy. I have been in government. Unless you be on that seat, you'll not understand what I'm talking about. When I was governor, we had problems of armed robbery. That is not as big as this menace. The situation then was just armed robbers. So we were able to coordinate, an action that have been able to eradicate them from Zamfara state. But these are people within the community. These are people that can just keep their arms somewhere, move out to the community, are citizens of Nigeria.
But you
don't know them.
It has become an enterprise.
Yes.
It has become a business.
That is why they call for negotiation. I'm saying that this problem of poverty, so long as it's not addressed.
When you were governor, did you address it?
Oh, of course. Check Zamfara. The poverty level of my state at that time was virtually non-existent.
But shortly thereafter, this thing burst out.
Everybody comes with his own plans. I had a robust program of agriculture, for example, education.
But some may say that is probably your own government that sowed the seed, because it was not building the structure of the state, more of spreading largesse.
Not spreading.
Across
you see, people didn't go and ask people today. At that time, I had excess grains of over 150,000 metric tons that I sold to Mr. President Obasanjo. The federal government had to buy excess grain. We had a program that everybody was busy in the farms, producing food. In the education sector, today, the engineers and doctors that I trained are just so many in Zamfara. The scholarship board was minimum wage I was paying to scholarship students. You see, that does not stop us from the infrastructural development. When I became governor, only 4 local governments out of 14 had electricity. Before I left government house, after 8 years, there was no village that I did not give electricity in the Zamfara state.
Very interesting point, and we'll go into it in greater details when we come back from a short break.
Yeah.
Welcome back. It is still 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. Before we went on break, you are talking about what you did as governor of Zamfara state, so as to distance yourself with probably the problems in that state currently. So what went wrong? Where did we get things wrong in Zamfara that ever since there is this rural banditry that has even gone beyond the borders of Zamfara and is consuming a lot of neighboring states up to Niger, Kaduna, Katsina? They are all consumed by the problem, and even the Sokoto state as well.
Well, you see, that the advantage of having an educated person in an office, that is why we send our children to school. I read economics to a master's level, and I have the concept of different definitions of economic development. Some people define the economic development by looking at basic needs of life, that we call it basic needs approach to development. Mm-hmm. Some people look at development of a state or country by provision of infrastructure alone. And so somebody who is not versed in economics, or who is not well and properly educated, will think that if he produces roads, he produces buildings, he has achieved development.
Are you saying that your successors did that?
Well, yeah, because you see, in general, that what happens is that the basic thing that you need as a governor is to ensure that there is human development. Once you develop human beings by providing the basic needs of life to them, making sure that they are properly educated, making sure that they are gainfully employed, then you can even use them to provide all the other infrastructure that you need. What is the basis of having a road when there are no cars owned by by the members of society to drive on that road? So you develop them, making sure that agriculture is solid, making sure that there is rural and economic development, there are activities going on, everybody is gainfully employed. And today, no farmer in the world, not only in Nigeria, can produce maximally without support of government. You must have a process of providing them with soft loans that they can use. So in agriculture, you have to give them inputs, improve seeds, varieties. You have to provide for fertilizer, chemicals, and other inputs.
So are you saying your successors are not doing all this?
No,
which is why Zamfara is in the state it is
now?
What
I have seen is that most of them concentrated on provision of roads.
And that is not what should have been.
Politically, there are reasons why governors go for roads.
Because they can be seen.
Not only that they can be seen, because that is the way they can, that's it. So, but the issue is that once you know that as a governor, you are going to be answerable to your creator, he will ask you, how do you run your society? What do you do with their money? And once they are happy, they can only be happy when you have social amenities available to them, support in terms of agricultural support, education support, social welfare support. Like we had so many hospitals for women and children, free medical services for women and children were provided in my time.
So do you feel betrayed that now Zamfara has a big backlog of even paying for WAEC and other examinations that the state government took upon itself, and then now its candidates from Zamfara state cannot sit for those examinations because the state is unable to pay for them?
You see, I did my own. I had 8 years of service, and alhamdulillah, I can tell you, like I said, go to Zamfara and ask anybody who is 20 years and above. He will tell you what was obtained in my tenure. I never left any debt, whether salary debt or pension debt or contractual debts. I tried to make sure that I plan was a giving income that is coming to me. And even if I'm taking loans, I will take loans that I can pay within a reasonable period of time.
But the people who inherited your position as governor were your own boys, from Mahmoud Shinkafi to your party chairman, Abdul Aziz Yari. He was your party chairman when you were governor in the state.
Yes.
So these are not aliens from elsewhere.
Yeah, you see, Mahmoud Abdul Shinkafi was my deputy for 8 years.
Yes.
And I thought he has learned a lot working with me. He has seen what I have done. I did it together with him around me. And that is why I was the only governor in Nigeria in 2007 who handed over to his deputy. The only governor.
And you fell out very quickly.
No, because my direction is not what he wanted.
It means you are a poor judge of people? Is that what it means? That you had him as your deputy, you didn't understand him?
You can have your own children, blood children, but they can go and do some other things that they want to do. So as soon as he became governor, I was sure I have done my own. I don't have to start running the government from Abuja, calling him, do this, do that, don't do this. I tried to give advice when it is absolutely necessary. But when I realized that the advice is not being taken, I decided to keep off. I have done my own. Allah will not ask me.
And what of your party chairman, Abdul Aziz Yari? Because he's more like...
He succeeded Mahmouda, yes. We struggled to campaign for him and he became governor. But equally, I will not come and say, even if he's my son, I can quarrel in the room with him that you have to do this, but if he doesn't do it, what do I do? So you see, I had my own political, socio-economic programs, and they came with their own direction, their own ideas of management the state.
Does it make you regret, especially given now we've had democracy for over 20 years? You were the pioneer governor, civilian governor in Zamfara, and what you are saying is that Zamfara is not turning out the way you wish it to be.
I think I have hope that one day things will change. And I'm sure with the current governor, who is properly educated, things will be better.
And who is not from your party?
It doesn't matter. You see, one thing is that we are Zamfara people. Once elections are done and concluded, governance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed power to somebody else. As citizens of Zamfara, we should not only pray for that leader, we should also support him with all the advices that he needs to succeed. If he succeeds, all of us will be happy.
Was it some consensus that among you, maybe led by you as the first governor, that maybe it was better that somebody not from your party win the last election, which is why there was the upset? The sitting governor was defeated by someone from the opposition party.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability. When you are not fully involved, you don't force yourself to be fully involved. You sit back and watch. And that is what really happened.
But you are not exactly sitting back, because you've been, even after leaving the Senate, you've been trying to come to national prominence. You haven't succeeded. You were an aspirant in ANPP against General Muhammadu Buhari then. And then even in this last election of 2023, you were in the primary against Bola Tinubu. You are one of the 14 or so aspirants. And now it's Bola Tinubu who has won.
That is national politics. I'm talking of Zamfara. I have already finished with Zamfara. I will not go back to Zamfara and contest for anything as far as Zamfara state is concerned. What I need to do is to advise whoever God has bestowed power to, and make sure that if he listens, if the advice is taken and he achieves a very wonderful result, I'll be happy with him. If there is problem in the process, I'll be the number one person that will regret having given that advice as human being. But national politics is different.
Why are you not following the conquest of formula? You are the overlord of everything And even if there is a governor under you, he seems to be taking orders
because
from you.
I know there is this world and another world. I can't be accountable for somebody's action. You see, if you have power, God will ask you how you utilize that power. Once you leave, the only thing that will be asked, if you see something that you cannot advise, if you have the capacity to advise. If you don't even have the capacity and opportunity to advise, you are supposed to feel very bad in your heart if something wrong is happening because you cannot advise. You are not given the opportunity to advise. So our religion has a direction. It has a standard that every human being will follow.
You are known for implementing Sharia in Zamfara State, and it doesn't appear to be working. I mean, Sharia doesn't appear to be the main concern of Zamfara citizens now. It doesn't appear that it is the law that obtains when people do wrong, whether big people or even the small people. Do you feel a sense of regret?
No, you see, I feel fulfilled because you see, go to Zamfara today, or Kano, or Sokoto, you will not find a prostitute houses. You will not find beer houses like they used to be often before, gambling houses. So at least there are some achievements that I've recorded.
But the big stealing hasn't stopped.
No, but you see, even from the day Prophet Salama left the world, even during his time,
yes,
there were still people who disobey God.
Because, you know, people who are saying the Sharia you had was more for the small people, and then the big people were getting away. They are doing their thing, and then billions are disappearing. And
these are all rumors. Nobody has ever pinpointed one person or individual, not even myself, to say that this. I presented myself to the government for interrogation, for investigation. Nothing was found.
You don't have any living case with the EFCC as we speak?
At all.
All has been cleared?
Never had. Even the cases they said they wanted to investigate, they were investigated and found that there was nothing in my time. You see, God who created us has given us roles and responsibility. If you are a leader, this is what you are going to do. If you are a sheikh, an ulama, a knowledgeable person, you have to talk to people and preach to them so that they can be good. There is always going to be good and bad people to the end of this world.
What do you say to those people who said your adoption of Sharia was a survival tactic because you have big national political figures like General Gusau in your state, and the only way you could survive was to have the Sharia as an insurance against anybody touching you?
Were they not there when I won election?
No, after winning.
It's for if I can win, while they were struggling to get me not to win, I don't need to struggle to do something else that will make me remain in office. I was elected for 4 years and nobody could remove me.
Even Obasanjo, who tried?
Nobody, yes. It's only my state assembly, if I'm found wanting, I was given the mandate to impeach me. And there was nothing like that.
And you don't think it's probably to do with that you as the symbol of Sharia and you becoming untouchable because of that?
When people saw my cassette in 1994, I built a small mosque in Sokoto. And in commissioning the mosque, we did Yerima. And in that occasion, I mentioned that we that are interested in having Sharia in Sokoto, that time Zamfara was not created. It was 2 years after that Zamfara was created. So that has vindicated me and showed that I had this Sharia in mind even before I became governor.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Ahmed Sani Yerima Mbakura, for coming on this program.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Viewers, that is the end of this edition of 30 Minutes. Keep a date with us.